Welcome back to Railroads Online. I'm River, and we are here up at the logging camp, ready to get for our finale in the 200 barrels of oil. It's been quite a journey to get 200 barrels of oil, a lot more time than I would have expected. Part of it was my issues in getting things organized, right? Because I didn't have enough iron ore, and then we ended up taking like much longer trains than we were really capable of, and had to have a bunch of episodes of repair things. But it really gives me a good idea of when you had to ramp things up, what you would do. So one of the things I should have done was come in here, and I wanted to mention this again for those of you who watched the last episode. Sorry about the repeat, but I know quite a few people don't watch the whole episode. So I wanted to point out that if I come up here the way I've been throwing firewood in, which has been extremely reliable for me, and throw a piece of wood in right at those two rivets right there, I'm even thinking of making a correction or some kind of message on my video that I did. Then we hit F. I didn't put any fuel in. So that's a problem. Let me grab another piece of wood so have 5 in my hand. If I hit control and come down here and squat and throw firewood in, you can see it goes in no problem. So I wanted to mention that to people if they were having any struggles. It seems like they changed the firebox. I'm not sure 100% what happened there, but we shall see, right? So let me come here. What we did, for those of you who didn't watch the last, we have 5 loads of cordwood that I want to take down to the ironworks because we need cordwood down there. We need firewood, so we're going to drop this off the firewood. It's just sort of one of those, the way it works out with our logistics, where in order to get up here and the way that we've got everything looped, the easiest thing is to bring the logging train over here and then hop into this guy. And then if we're heading all the way down, let's take a, oops, let me get out of here. Take a quick look at the map. Like if we're going to head all the way down to the refinery, we might as well bring this cordwood down to the ironworks. So that's what we're doing now, just sort of a little bit of a filler trip, justify the expense of the run or something like that. So let's get going since we got full steam. And we're just wasting it while I talk. All right, is everybody coming with us? I didn't relog. I'm doing this episode back to back with the last one, so I didn't have to worry about that. And hopefully, all of our cars are going to stay with us the whole entire way. Now, I flipped the flipper. When we get down past here, I want to unflip it, all right, so that we can come back in the quote right way, and then we could pick up those other cars. I'm assuming the next time we would use this train would be to go take cordwood to the smelter, right? Obviously we could take it to get firewood someplace, but either way, there's a good chance we're going to want those other 3 cars potentially. We could do a little bit of both, like if I took a load of cordwood for firewood to the smelter, I could also end up dropping off whatever excess I had left up to the smelter, which makes the smelter a good reason for having a firewood depot there, right? I think the only place that I really might want a firewood depot that I don't have one at this point is around the sawmill, but I'm making enough trips that I haven't run out of firewood yet, but I'm definitely getting lower and finding that I'm not really going past the firewood depot as much as I would like. I'm going to have a lot of clicking to do to get that Cook Mogul filled back up. Yeah, so this is not the longest thing before we hit the downhill, but our short train here should be good to stop for a second. Yeah, I don't really need firewood or water. I can't see that switch that well. Maybe a little bit further. Won't hurt. I think that's it. Jeez, I can't even get past. All right, so this way when I come back in, I'm facing that direction. I'll be able to pick up those cars. So we'll be in good shape. Oops. Yeah, we're in good shape. Plenty of fuel to make it down there. Now, I don't think I know we're going to have to flip switches when we go out onto the main line. All right, we're still all coming. Let's just glide down this hill. I don't want to get going too fast. So give it a little bit of break just for the sake of safety. Yeah, we're going pretty quick. Starting to vibrate. If I had to do it all over again, I don't think I would have built as fancy a rail siding right here. So considering... break. Yeah, now this one's right, so we don't have to break that hard. But we got to break for going out. Oh, no, it's going to send us the wrong way. Let's turn the regulator off, too. Right, this switch is right. However... this switch is not. Yeah, so we don't have any, for all the work we did down here, now that we're stopped, we might as well talk for a second. The whole loop, I never really wanted this. We built the other little rail siding to hold excess logging cars, because we're not going to always want to bring the same number of logging cars with us. But I never really did anything with it, after this whole trip of logistics of getting 200 barrels of oil, so who knows what content will come to the game that might require something like that. Who knows? Do we just redo the whole map from the beginning? That's one thought I had at some point in the future. They make such big changes that, and even the whole taking away the trees so far from both sides of the track, that, I don't know. I was liking the way some of the tracks were looking with the trees close, and I think that there would have been a lot more tree cutting to make things look exactly like I wanted them to, which is not broad, wide open expanses. I'm going to throw a 3 pieces of wood in here, not even knowing how much is in there. Oh, look, we missed. Yeah, I missed an awful lot. Something's definitely going on. Something is definitely going on with that. They fixed the firebox and now it doesn't work as well. Gotta love it. But again, I don't know. Maybe it's just for me. Let me know if you guys are having the same problems. And then we'll all know that we're not the only ones having the issue, right? Because sometimes it could be my computer. So I'm going to, I do these episodes in 1920 by 1080 because it works for YouTube, so it's pretty standard. If it doesn't work for my system, it's pretty standard, safe system. So now, what I'm thinking of is, well, let me go a little bit faster. I don't think that'll be too loud. I think you guys can hear me. I have adjusted over time. I think I can talk. I've got this turned down enough that even when it's loud, it's not as loud as it was at the very beginning of the series. Is it series or is it series I? Anyway, I think our turn is going to take us to the left up here when we get to the all-way turn. All-way intersection. Sorry. And would it be better just to go that way and then flip a couple switches and back in, right? As opposed to having to go... Otherwise, what I would do is go all the way around the ironworks and then come back out and back in. So I'm thinking maybe we just try to back in and not flip these, not have to stop this second time, right? Because then, if you think about it, I'd want to go back out this way anyhow. So, yeah, now that I think about it too, yeah, that's the way to do it, right? Because then our switches will be ready to go once we drop this cordwood off. Which I haven't ever done. So I don't know if we're not going to back right into this thing and have a big catastrophe. Right, so our switch, I can't hardly see. I think I would turn off the snow just for the sake of seeing these switches. Seeing those switches ahead is so critical. Let's just give it a little bit of break. Right, and then we flip this one, flip these back into our cordwood, and then when we come back out to go pick up our oil, away we go. Definitely can't fully see that switch. I think we're past it now. Let's just let it come to a natural stop. Pretty close. We'll hop out. All right, then these are, I didn't really even look, but I'm almost certain they're the wrong. This one's definitely the wrong way. The other one's good. And then we'll need to do the one that goes into the thing. And I really want to remember to try to flip that back, stop and flip it back on my way so that, because that's definitely the kind of thing I'm not going to even look for, right? I'm so used to not flipping this switch because it's not a normal part of the, I might not even check it. So for safety's sake, I'll just flip it on the way out so that we don't have to worry about it in the future. Even though it will be a little bit extra. It'll be a long time before we ever pull back in there. Yeah, I don't know. Or did I bring wood to this? But I don't know. I forget. It's been so long. I do remember the conversations and people complaining about the firewood. And it just seems like at this point, it's just such a small task compared to all the other running around you have to do. And it adds a little bit of reality of, just the idea that you have to deal with the firewood. I understand that people were making arguments, oh, well, that was provided locally by people that were, yeah, sometimes, but not when you were in the middle of Arizona. There was no wood, right? I'm sure they had to train wood into certain areas, like, the Great Plains of the United States certainly probably didn't have a lot of wood in particular on them, At least not throughout the whole thing. I mean, I know there is trees in the Great Plains, but it's not. And I don't know, how many trees were there in the old days? I mean, so many of our landscapes in the world have been affected by human use that it's kind of hard to say what it was like back in 1880 or 1890. I know one of the reasons we had the big dust bowl in the 1920s was because they didn't have enough trees to help block the wind. Like part of what they did to stop the dust bowl from happening again was to like plant trees every so often, like around the farm fields, so that the winds just couldn't just whip right across it. And if you've ever been, I have been to that part of the United States. I mean, it's just like when it gets windy, it's just like unmercifully windy when I've been there. Or maybe it's just coincidence, but it's just compared to where I live, where it's kind of gusty more often. Like there, it's just like a lot of times like a steady wind whipping across the plains, you know? It's so flat. All right, I really don't have any markers here, which could make this a little bit more of an interesting thing. I can see the shadows, so that'll help a lot. That's one of the reasons I'm looking on. Oh, geez, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to turn it off. Yeah, I definitely don't think I'm far enough. Let's. Hopefully I can stop right where we can unload too. I can see that shadow right on the track right there. I'm going to try to stop when the two shadows meet up, which will be probably right about there. Nope, I went a little further than I thought. But let's see what that looks like. Yeah, good. Good enough. Not a race, right? Now, is that going to be... I think I'd rather go back a little bit further. So I think that would work. Yeah, so if I were to say this was a marker, I would go a little bit further back. All right, now where... Oh, well, you know what? We do have a... I don't know what this is. Is that where I would stop? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Even if we had just 4 cars, we would want... Right, like the odd man out would be here, would be where we would stop. Okay, well, we got the 1 car. Let's stop right there because that should bring us back. Because we have an odd number of cars, which I probably didn't plan on. So this might have been for the 6th car, if that makes sense. Or maybe I only had 4 at the time. So there should be another marker I would have out there if I ever did 8 before. But let's just see what this marker does for us right here. Oh, come on. I keep missing the brake. Well, we can get this one. Now, the other problem I thought of is if one of those piles is at... Yeah, see, I went too far. Kind of thought I would. Or thought I did. Because I do remember these are pretty particular. If you're going to try to do two cars, you need to be kind of spot on. You can do it. You just can't stop wherever the heck you feel like it, like I just did. So yeah, so I'm kind of counting on. Let's see, how much do we have? 8. Yeah, I don't know how much it produced. So what do we? If we dropped off 3 cars, that's 24. So we used up 7 of them. That means we're going to have an extra thing of wood because this guy looks like he's at 100. Yeah. So we're not going to make any more firewood. But you know what? That might have been exactly what the doctor ordered. If that other one didn't have, because I could put this in here, no problem. Let's back up now that we're here. Oh, we don't have any water temperature. How do we manage that so quickly? Yeah, I need to put some in kind of ASAP. Yeah, so that is a good mark, I think, for stopping the right spot. Now we're just going to try to do it, I think, this way. It's probably too far. But I can get this one unloaded. See how much... Yeah, 22. Okay, so we're fine because we could go up to 32 and we only have 8 left. I'm going to pull forward after we throw some more wood in here. Crouch. I'm not used to having to crouch. Oh, look, it's just completely missed with those woods. There we go. Got that one. Can I crouch and... Yeah, I don't know. They do honestly change things. Their quality control, I think, on the programming, and I understand they're a small group of college kids, or that's the impression that I get. Maybe that's the impression they want us to have. I don't know. Today, nowadays, so many people don't tell the truth on the internet and everywhere else in the news that I don't know what to believe from anybody anymore. But the bottom line is, I think they really do need to do a little bit better job of testing things. I think it seems to me they're probably leaving things up to people to do them right, and I don't know. And maybe it's just hard for them if they're a limited team. They just can't check everything on every, like every different type of computer, and that costs them in that respect. All right, so how are we doing here? Well, oh, geez, what did I do? Okay. Yeah, I think we could probably try to get going, at least to get the reversers in the right direction. At least we could try to get this switch flipped, because we got to stop there anyway, and then I have a feeling we might be okay by the time we get that done. All right, so there we go. Good. So we got the firewood dropped off. That justified some of the fuel cost, right? Some of the time we took. And it sort of has something to do with the 200 barrels of oil. I don't think we did that, and I think it's a fair representation of what you have to do to get 200 barrels, which was sort of my intention. If you watch this whole thing, you would know what you would have to do. And I could see ramping it up more as far as the number of cars go and all that stuff, but really I feel like what I did was starting to stretch the capabilities of the game as far as those loading distances. I mean, these trains get so long that while you can do more, and it's human nature to be competitive in that sense, I'm not sure that you would really ever... I think the aggravation level that you get might not be worth it, I guess, is the biggest thing. There we go. All right, time for oil. Time for the big moment. Months of work. I don't know how many hours, because I played a while, and I haven't even looked at my hours on Steam in a while. There we go. We got up to pressure. But I mean, I think just getting to this point overall has to have been about 100 and some hours. So I mean, you're talking about weeks of work. Because I was probably at 50 hours or so when I decided to start recording this. Now I'm up over 200. I'm going to be quiet while we make a little bit of noise for a tiny period of time. I'm going to try to stop for water. We only have 150, and it probably would be enough to get to the depot, but I don't really have I don't have a water thing up there. Of course, we could always plop one down, but is that all you're going to give me? Pretty good estimate on turning it down. You glide there? Or probably. Yeah, so if you notice, I haven't been showing everything. No cutting this episode. I think it's going to take us about an hour. My guess. We'll see how close I was to that. Oh, right, stop. They've changed this over time. I do like it in general, but I don't like the... We used to be able to climb up on here. I'm not sure why they took that away. Maybe people were getting stuck. I don't know. All right, come on over this way. And they also changed the way this works, which is generally better, but can be a little bit more finicky. All right, let's come back this way. Are you actually going in there, or are you... It looks like it might be. Yeah, it's going up. Might as well take some firewood off of this. Yeah, this... Putting the fire... It is definitely a thing that I don't want to do, to have to fill up anything but these little guys. I think in the beginning it was a good idea, but once we got to the bigger trains, like, you really want that firewood to be close, and you want to pull that porter right up, or the cook right up to there, and then do it. Yeah, so let's see if we can get by with the fuel we have. Reverser's good. Brake. All right, we're flipped to go right in there, so we'll loop right around. Yeah, that was a good idea for starters, to kind of cheat the system for these little ones, but when that firewood's far away, it's too much running back and forth to fill that Cook Mogul or one of the bigger Eureka, or I'd never had the Eureka, but the Climax, or the... Oh, what the heck is the other one? Heisler. I like the Heisler. Put the toolboxes on the roof. Yeah, I don't think I have markers on this, because we never really unloaded that much stuff before. I think we had like 2 cars worth, because we messed up the crude oil, which is kind of harsh, right? Like, I think if it were, in retrospect, if I had to do it all over again, I might have cheated. You know, like, if it weren't for making the video, to be honest. Right. I guess we could do 2, but I don't want to be wasting this stuff either, so we need to make sure we don't put too many on there, right? And start wasting them. So we can hold how many? 46. I thought it was 42. I need to write that down, because now we're definitely going to be able to get them all. Can't see the... Yeah, this is the way all the loading should be. Like, I really wouldn't mind that. I understand the idea. It's still time consuming, right? But why have to sit there and click the crane 72 times? And the other thing is, it really wouldn't be unrealistic if it would just stop on its own. I don't know if they plan on stopping it in that way, but... All right, so when their bottom is full, is that 23? No, what did they... Oh, they must throw a couple extra on top. I'm kind of nervous here. I don't want to waste the stuff. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to... Well, let's go a little further. Then I'm going to cut this one off so that I can deal with just making sure this one's full. Yeah, let me just cut this one off for a minute. Yes, I don't know how fast it responds. Okay, well, at least that fast. If I had to, like, try to squeak another one out, I'd rather do that than lose the barrel. because that wasn't real fast to stop. Like an extra one squirted out. All right, so now I'm going to try to... All right, see that extra one right there? I think that's the 46th one. Don't know. You can do the math. Well, the math's a little bit tricky because there you go. You can see we have 60, so I don't know, because we are still making a few extra barrels, right? Let's see if we can figure... Okay, well, let's check this one. Did we get the right? Yeah, 46. All right, so how many do we have here now? 32. So we have a little ways to go. I don't have to lower that thing all the way down, so that could be a little more... How does this one look? Okay, so they put a row right in the middle, so you know you're done when that middle top row is... good to go. I'm assuming, hopefully I don't know, maybe I shouldn't assume that. The graphics are... All right, so when this gets to 44, we'll try to stop it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. 44 seems to be a good call there. I don't think we let any extra... I don't think we wasted any. All right, so let's pull up, and I think I'm going to just load up the rest. You guys get the idea. Save a little bit of time. I don't think it matters that much, but that way we have plenty of extra time for our trip. And we don't have any... Don't have any markers. I'm not sure that we need them. I'll try to line up that chute here. Because these are not, see how they're not like perfectly apart, so it's sort of, you have to do a thing. But let me just pause it a little bit, and that way I'll put some fuel in the train. We'll be all ready to go when we go to pull out. All right, I'll just do the same exact thing I did. There's no sense in, I don't think, recording that. There we go. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I got the 4 loaded, and now I need to pull forward. I guess you could make an argument we should have brought 6. Let's see if that's a good spot. Definitely probably could use some markers here. But in other words, because we had these 2 things, I have to pull up and load the 1/2 and then the rest. Another thought I've had, and I think it would be all right. Let's get this guy going. I'll show you when we get done. Like, I left this guy down, and these buildings seem to reset themselves to a neutral position, but you'd hate to start putting oil in there. It'd be kind of harsh, wouldn't it? that thing just started rolling them out, like, because it remembered that this was down. So I don't think I'd want to leave that in a down position, just for the sake of it. How many more? And I did check. We're done producing anything. We're down to 0. 0 steel pipes. So we have like 18 lumber and like 3 crude oil. And we got everything loaded, in particular because we can hold 46. Oop, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my spreadsheet and write down that these cars hold 46. All right, just so that I don't make that mistake again in the future. All right, good. Well, we're ready to go, I think. I put some more fire in here, and then we need to flip the flipper, right? I probably should have done that. Should have done that on my way in, or when I was on the break, I mean. All right, which is actually kind of good we came in this way, because there's a chance that the next time we come in, we're going to want this flipper. No, we're probably going to drop off crude oil, I think would be the first thing. And well, we could be steel pipes, but crude oil, because you hold 1,000, you'd probably bring all your crude oil up first, and then bring 100 steel pipes, and then because remember, when we bring the steel pipes second, if we bring like 108 steel pipes, we'll have a little bit of wood. We'd already have the crude oil in there. So you could actually drop off more than 100. We could drop off up to 118 steel pipes, right? If we dropped off more crude oil to begin with. And are we going to want a little more fire? Yeah, you know what? Before we get going, let's give this. I can't see. There you go. I saw the wood go. Yeah, I think that's all we need. 49. All right, we're ready to go. Blue barrels of oil. All right. But this is a good amount of money. I forget what we get paid for these things, but I think it's good money. We'll take a look when we get up there. Oh, yeah, that's the right way. I'm scared myself. Yeah, all of these should be fine too, because we pulled out what the. Yeah, we'll see. As long as this is why I always try to flip these so that if I'm on the bypass, I go on the bypass, and if I'm not, I don't. I think we got way too fast for this turn, or at least I want to keep going faster. All right. In other words, if I'm on the whatever way I'm down here, whichever path we're going to take, not this one so much, but yeah, that one's going to send us out this way. This one's going to send us in, and that other one has to be ready to accept us. So, yeah, I definitely think that what I would do in the future is maybe bring this one straight and then pull into these a little bit different. That would let that turn be not so sharp down at the end. Though really, I think that if you make these trains so long, it's kind of tough. Like you really can't. It really becomes more time consuming to unload a small train. So I think you really should set yourself up to be able to drop extra cars off and then just unload half the train or a third of your train and then just keep repeating that. Because it really does get to be a 1 minute run back and forth the length of the train, and that really adds up. This one's in good shape, and we just flipped the flipper, so we should be good to go. Actually, going to cut this down because we're going to go down this hill anyway. I want to leave oil barrels all over the ground. Now, when we get up to the Allway intersection, we're going to have to flip to be able to go north, and then we're going to have to flip the bypass that takes us into the. This one thing about this one, we don't have as good of brakes. You got to keep that in mind too. Even though we don't have as long a train, this one, the brakes need something to be desired. Slow down here. Yeah, it's unfortunate that switch to go to that goes to the freight depot is just so much further away. Like it would really be nice if it was just a little bit closer. Now in this case all I have to do is flip this one switch, right? Because we came down this way. So I know we're going to be good to go. I head right back. All those other switches are going to be right. Until we get to the one that takes us to the freight depot. And then I have no idea. It's been so long since I've been there. We'll just have to approach it carefully because I don't know. No idea which way we went in there the last time. All the cars are still with us. Our little train. You'd say little, but think about it. When you have 26 cars of beams, you've got 100, or was it? I'm sorry, like 70 some, 78 beams, where we have like over 200 barrels of oil with less than 5 full cars. Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is just too far away to run from there, but it's really not that far away that it's just a pain to then have to stop your train like this much further ahead. You know, it's not that far ahead that we have to now stop. But then flip this guy. And I don't ever see us taking too many. But it's nice when you get them all flipped and you got to take the multiple trips with your beams. Because then you don't have to do so much switch flipping. Switching. All right, we're still pretty good on heat, I think. Well, this is it, guys. We are coming down like what could be considered the final stretch. I don't think I'm going to... I think I'll go park this guy myself. You know, because the 200 barrels of oil will be sold, and I think that is the official finish line. Alright, so which way is that guy going? We definitely want to go this way, to the right. And that guy looks like he's going to the right. Which would be pretty normal, right? Because coming up here, it would be kind of odd to go that way, right? Like, in other words, do we even really need this? Yeah, well, we need it to go this way and then accept us this way. But I don't even know that we need this little piece of track here. Because it would be really weird to just want to bypass it. And if you did, even if you did want to do that trip, thinking about it, you could just go around that way, right? Yeah, good. This one's flipped the right way as well. That makes sense. Like, do we really even need this? We could use this stretch of track because now you know where we need it is if I wanted to go back out and go the same direction. So I think that for our logistics, we don't need it, but it does make a lot of sense that you might do this kind of a circular loop around here. Because again, you could be bringing freight from anywhere to sell it, potentially. I try not to sell too much stuff just for the sake of, you know, because it does have the logistics path, right? I don't want to sell off things that we don't need to. Because there's no real benefit to it, right? It's not like you get more money for selling it. You're better off making your 200 barrels of oil I think we can get them all in one shot. All right, so let's see what our money is. So 8,172. So we made a little bit of money from dropping off that cordwood. Yep, so 50. Or no, I'm not 50. 40 for each one. Yeah. Nice. That's a good amount of money. All right. Look at that money rack up. So that's great. It looks like the oil barrels are jumping right off, like fish coming out of the water, right? Let's see how much we end up with here. Wow, that is a lot of oil. Look at that, 13,000. Yeah, great. So the good news is that when we come back to do other things, assuming nothing changes that greatly, we will have plenty of moolah to do it. I certainly, if I have regrets about where we're at, I definitely would like to see maybe using that Eureka. I think that would be a nice thing. There we go. So we almost doubled our money, just about, right? Because we were at 81 or something, or we did double it, didn't we? Yeah, so pretty because we were at 8,100, so that was worth 8,500 to drop off 200 and a couple barrels of oil. So there we go, guys. Well, that's it. I mean, I know it's only what are we up to? Not even 50-minute episode here, but we have sold 200 barrels of oil. A bit of an epic journey. I think if we did the second 200 barrels of oil, we'd be in good shape. I certainly have some projects down south there that I want to improve some of those rail situations that I've seen. So I might sneak back for an episode or two of the rail repair to do that at some point. But generally speaking, I'm going to focus for a little while, probably just on the workers and resources. There's a part of me that, as I've been playing a little bit of Oxygen Not Included. They came out with their official release of the Spaced Out DLC. I had bought that DLC a while ago, but now they've kind of finished it, so to speak. I think they've done all the improvements they're going to make. So I've been playing a little bit of that. I was playing some Dwarf Fortress not too long ago, and some Crusader Kings. So let me know if you guys want to see another game. One of those three would definitely interest me. I have to have a pretty strong interest to want to do a YouTube series on it. I don't get paid much for these videos. It's not a career here for me. This is more of a hobby. So much like if I asked you to play a game that you really didn't like, that would probably be something you wouldn't do. Well, that's how it works for me as well. But I really have enjoyed this game, and I definitely want to get back to it. I hope they get some more content added. I understand they're working on bugs, and hopefully they'll get all their bugs squashed, and they'll be able to start adding some neat things, like the caboose that we haven't even looked at. So what didn't we look at here? I didn't used all the regular cars, of course. Yeah, and I haven't really even looked into the caboose all that much. I don't want to say it's pointless. I don't know what it does. Does it do us any good besides just being a caboose, which were used at times, especially on longer hauls for guys to sleep and little crew quarters? I would really love it if they could make it where it had a camera view from the top of the caboose, so to make the back in those long trains in. That's the one thing I would want it to do to make it useful for us single players. And then I never used the handcart, not once. Probably should try it. There were so many complaints in the beginning about it that I just never bothered with it. And again, it's probably working fine now. I have no idea, but I have very little urge to use the handcar. Heisler, yeah, we use that. We've got our Climax. Hopefully they did say they adjusted the speed of the Climax and the Heisler. And I'm assuming they made them faster. I don't know, because that was since I used them. Cook, our favorite. Yeah, if you're going to buy one train, that's the train you want. And then okay, you know what? We completely missed this one. But then this one has pretty good tractive effort. I don't know why we didn't use this one. And then there's the Eureka. This is the one everybody complains about. And I think part of it is that it's got the same tractive effort as a Porter does. So 5,600, or pretty close to the same anyway. Now the Porters have more, 6,100. So, but I'm thinking that's, some people are saying, well, it was a passenger train of the time, I guess, with the gold or bronze parts on there. So yeah, we'll come back. Maybe that's another thing we could do, is just take a look at these other locomotives and find some, we're just run some train routes with them and see how that is. Like I said, it'll be a little more casual, not something I'll do, every day. Like, I mean, not that it's not, I mean, it's me playing games. It's casual all the time, but there is a certain, obviously I put out a video every day. So there is a certain amount of emphasis that I try to get the video out each day. But so anyway, you get the idea. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support with this. It's sad to end it because of all of you guys, and you're watching it. So thank you. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day. Bye-bye.